Welcome to Flashback Monday, the continuation. I am so sorry I don't have any more Romantic Time book review magazines to go through. I've missed those suckers something terrible. You may see them show up on Friday though, on a couple of the ends that are coming up. I'm working on it. So, anyways, welcome to the D. Louise book series. I'm Christina KRESLEY. This is where we read books, talk about books, no special effects, no theme music, none of that fancy man stuff going on here. And if you could please hit the like and subscribe, I would really, 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 really appreciate it. I could use all the likes and subscribe. So I was hoping for a miracle by my birthday. Well, hoping for a miracle by Christmas, never happened. Hoping for a miracle by my birthday, never happened. Easter maybe? Shall we see? But anyway, these are books published in April of 2017. Remember, Romantic Times book review started in the 80s, but my personal copy started in 2007. We ran through 2016 when they went out of business. They did continue online electronically, but those have completely disappeared. I never downloaded them. I never even thought about it back then. I deeply regret it. Not doing any of that stuff. So we are moving forwards. We are up to April of 2017. These are the new releases for 2017. Our first one is LENORA Bell. Blame it on the Duke. Naked guy on the cover, Selena. Nicholas Lord Hatherley never intended to marry nor to add Mad Hatherley line, but now he must honor his father's debt to a social climbing merchant or lose the family estate. A notoriously wild marquise won by her father at a game of cards is the very last thing Miss Alice Toombs want. She spent the last 3 seasons repelling suitors in spectacular fashion, so she'd be at liberty to explore the world. She'll just have to drive this one away as well. Until Nick proposes an utterly tempting arrangement. One summer together to prove their legitimacy of the union, and then Alice is free to travel the world, while Nick revels in the time he has left before the Hadley madness takes hold. But I bet they fall in love. Happens all the time. Suzanne Enoch, she occupies quite a few shelves over there. My one true Highlander, Scotland 1812, rugged Highlander Graham loyalty to his clan means that his enemies are his own, even when that includes his neighbors, the Duke of Latimer. It's the fight he doesn't relish, but when Graham's reckless younger brothers foolishly kidnap Latimer's younger sister, all bets are off. You kidnapped a girl? You doofuses. Lady Marjorie Forrester may be aligned with the enemy, but capturing her puts Graham squarely in the middle of a war. If he turns Margaret over to the clan chief, she would be killed. If he lets her go, his brothers could face prison. In addition, the woman can't stop trying to civilize the lot of them. What's a Highlander to do but keep the stubborn lass close and possibly in his bed? HELENKAY DIMON, the Enforcer. Security expert Mathis Clark hunts down people who don't want to be found. His latest prey, the sole survivor of massacre that killed his brother years ago. Kayla Royal claims she was a victim of the carnage. Then she disappeared. Matthias thinks Kayla must have actually been the killer, and he wants justice, and he wants it now. Kayla Roy never stays in one place too long and never lets a man get too close. But keeping Mathis at arm's length may be impossible. Dark and enigmatic, Matthias draws Kayla in from the start. She knows nothing about his connection to her past or his thirst for vengeance. She only knows their attraction is sizzling. Lorelei James. If you've ever watched any of the Romantic Times book review magazine reviews that we did in the past, I associate Lorelei James with e-books. And I don't mean the electronic books, I mean exotic books. A little heavy on the bedroom activity. PR agent Annika Lund can spin any disaster into a win, but revamping the reputation of mysterious Notorious Swedish hockey player will take every trick in her arsenal, especially when his agent insists that convincing everyone he's no longer Playboy is top priority and requires a sham relationship. And of course, you will fake being in a relationship and then it'll develop into a relationship and then we'll fall in love and marry. That's the way these books go. I think maybe I should save this for a sports thing too. Maybe we'll do a sports thing. I've done a sports things before. If you haven't seen, are you ready for some football? Go check out my football romances. Looking for a fresh start, Lady Kurland, ever my love. Trying to forget her rocky love life. Luckily, the gorgeous Highlander who owns the house up the path from her rental cottage might be exactly the kind of distraction he needs. But there's more to his intrigue qualities than she can explain. Although she certainly isn't buying into the local legends of the Highland magic. Nathaniel MacLeod is a man adrift, all thanks to unwanted gift that forces him to continue jump between centuries. He never knows if he'll wind up in the present day or the 14th century, but when Emma follows him back through time, he suddenly has to worry more about himself and her too. Ooh, some time travel. If you haven't seen my time travel, then please go check it out. There's another book in this pile that we will talk about. Oh, we will talk about. Because I did an entire month on this book series. Is this one of them? Or did I get my list? Nope, it's in here. Okay. Okay, another thing we're going to be talking about. We're going to come up again. Occult and Battery. The outlook is not so good for Kasich psychic shop Mystic Music. With winter winds discouraging tourists from riding the ferry from Long Island to Bayonne, Cass hopes to draw more customers by hosting a murder mystery weekend, complete with a seance in supposedly haunted mansion. Cass begins to lose her spirit when her ex-husband shows up along with his fiancée, Cass's ex-best friend. Then, after one of the guests is found dead, a blizzard blows in, trapping everyone inside with a murderer. Now Cass must divine who did the deed before her reputation and her livelihood phases away. We need to talk about that. Nancy Bush. Dangerous behavior. Just one look is all it takes to fall in love. Julia St. James Ford has washed up on a beach near her home in Seaside, Oregon, with no memory of how she got there or her husband Joe died. The police rule the case an accident, but Joe's brother Sam, Jules' rescuer and her first love, suspects otherwise. While Sam tries to piece the facts together, Jules fears someone is watching, determined to find out how much she knows and to kill her before she remembers everything. We will do these. We've done some of these. I haven't. I've done the Eve Duncan, but I need to go and do the other side. Wait, not the Eve Duncan. I forget what's the name. Kendra. We did Kendra, but I need to go back. I want to do the other series. So we've got Iris Johansen, No Easy Target. Margaret Douglas has worked hard to put her painful past behind her. Raised off the grid in an abusive home, her only escape was the nearby forest in which she sought refuge whenever she could. There, in the peaceable woods, she discovered a strange gift, the ability to understand animals and communicate with them. Oh, good God, wouldn't we like to do that? Wouldn't you be able to be Dr. Dolittle? So those creatures became her only friends, her only joy during a desolate childhood. Now Margaret wants nothing more than to live a quiet life close to the animals and under the radar. But her abilities have not gone unnoticed, and there are those who would use them for their own purposes. Determined not to be a pawn in anyone's game, every time someone gets too close, Margaret uproots her life and outruns them. When John Lasseter breaks into Margaret's apartment, she vanishes again. But Lasseter has a good reason to be persistent. As a CIA operative, he owes his life to his men, one of whom is being held captive by an unrelenting enemy. An enemy who has set his sights on Margaret, which Lasseter must control her or use her as bait. Ooh, that cruel guy. That cruel guy. Alexander McCall Smith. My Italian bulldozer. Paul Stewart, a renowned food writer, finds himself at loose ends after his longtime girlfriend leaves him for a personal trainer. To cheer him up, Paul's editor Gloria encourages him to finish his latest cookbook on site in Tuscany, hoping that the change of scenery plus the occasional truffled pasta and glass of red wine will offer a cure for both heartache and writer's block. But upon Paul's arrival, things don't go quite as planned. A mishap with his rental car reservation leaves him stranded until a new-founded friend leads him to an intriguing alternative, a bulldozer. With little choice in the matter, Paul accepts the offer, and as he journeys slowly trundles into the idyllic hillside town of Monteciliano, he discovers that the bulldozer may be the least of the surprises that wait him. What follows is a delightful romp through the lush sights and flavors of the Tuscan countryside, as Paul encounters a rich cast of characters, including a young American woman who awakens something in him unexpectedly. Another lady Another lady that I also associate with the ebook industry, Miss Opal Carew, Fair to Remember. Stevie has given up on love and just wants a simple life driving her taxi, but her plans are turned upside down when a gorgeous billionaire, Reed Jacobs, steps into the back of her cab. Commanding and mysterious, he's a temptation she can't resist, and soon their torrid one-night stand leads to an intoxicating affair. Ooh. We'll see this lady again in May. Right there. There's your Mother's Day. As a regular volunteer at North Dakota Elementary, Ellie would never miss the annual Mother's Day breakfast, even if she has to tolerate the likes of Gabriel Matheson. The rivals aren't exactly sworn enemies, although Ellie still thinks there's room for one professional organizer in the small Georgia town. But when Ellie sees Gabriel in the hallway, she's a mess. It looks like Gabriel's seen a ghost, or as she explains, a dead body inside the supply closet. Before Ellie can get help, the body vanishes, only to mysteriously reappear later at the school. Time to investigate. Elliot James, legend has it. Somewhere, someone is reading a magic book that is reading them right back. The line between fantasy and reality is breaking down, and life is becoming a fairy tale. Bored office workers are turning quite literally into zombies, bullies into black knights, and squatters beneath bridges into trolls. Interesting. Tracy Brogan, My Kind of You. Sounds like a beach read. So expect to see this in May and June for a beach read recommendation. Emily Chambers never expected to spend another summer on Wenway Island. Yet there she is, back in quaint northern Michigan hometown of Trillium Bay. Divorced, flat broke, and dragging her precious 12-year-old daughter. A simple arrangement. Emily, a house flipper, will renovate one of her grandmother's rental properties in exchange for a much-needed loan. Once a wild child, she reformed. Emily also hopes to remodel her reputation and show her family she's all grown up. But coming home is never quite simple. Emily's dad is more distant than ever. Her younger sister is dating a much older man, and Emily is worried it's a mistake. The cottage remodel grows increasingly daunting, and then there's the handsome out-of-town Ryan Taggart. Ooh, maybe some romance. The Hunt. A serial killer stalks prostitutes in Columbia, Ohio. A distraught brother asks private investigator Andy Hayes to find his sister before it's too late. In a deadly race against time, Andy soon learns he's not the only person hunting Jessica Burns, but he may be the only one who wants her alive. Seems other people want her dead because she knows too much. Burns hasn't been seen in weeks, following a downward slide that started when she was a runaway teenager and ended up on the streets. Assisting Andy is former prostitute Teresa Sullivan. She now works at St. Andrew's, a mission church run by Andy's friend, the Reverend Roy Roberts, who was less than keen on asking Teresa to relive the memories of life that nearly killed him. A local congressman making the headlines with her work against human trafficking puts pressure on Andy to solve the case. While the police don't want him near their exhaustive search for the murderer, they could use the help. We've done some of her books on my chapter, so go check them out. A couple of the early ones. I need to get back to it. I forgot about it. Lindsay Davis, the third Nero. In Rome 90 AD, a paranoid emperor and genuine conspiracies make the corridors of power a dangerous, often lethal place to be. Now more than ever before, following the Saturn revolt in Germany, Emperor Dominant has become more paranoid about traitors and dissenters around him. This leads to several senators and even provincial governors being executed for supposed crimes of conspiracy and insulting the emperor. Dominant is determined to uncover and then presumably handle all of the supporters of the Centurions currently in the Senate. With this in mind, one of Dominant's men approaches Flavia with an offer. He wants to hire her to do her least favorite sort of job, intelligence work, to try to root out all the enemies. Flavia Doria and chip off the old block of Marcus would rather avoid any and all court intrigue, thank you very much. But she's in a bit of a bind. Her wedding is fast approaching, her fiancé still recovering slowly from being hit by a lightning bolt, and she's the sole support of her household. So I guess she's got to go do it. We did a thing on, I read her couple of books, I reviewed them on the channel, and she also showed up on early private detective sleuthing ones too. Okay. I am gathering these books. We will do these books. The very first book pissed me off in the series because the hero committed premeditated murder and got away with it. And that was the one thing that bothered me about the series, but we will go back to it again. Thanks to some very influential people whose lives he saved, Lucas is no longer working for the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, but for the U.S. Marshal Service. And with unusual scope, he gets to pick his own cases, whatever they are, wherever they lead him. And where they led him this time is into real trouble. At Biloxi, Mississippi, a drug cartel counting house gets robbed and a suitcase full of cash disappears, leaving behind 5 bodies, including that of a 6-year-old girl. Davenport takes the case, which quickly spirals out of control as a cartel assassins, including a torturer known as the Queen of Home Improvement Tools, compete with Davenport to find the Dixie Hicks shooters who knocked over the counting house. Things get real ugly fast, and neither the cartel nor the hold-up men give a damn about whose lives Davenport might have to save. Okay. We've done all these books on my channel, so please go check out. We've done them all. And I just did the new one recently, so go check that one. Deadly Fashion. And I talked about the fact that I don't have clip art talent. I didn't have any kind of talent. I would have put fashion all over the screen, beautiful wedding dresses and gowns and stuff like that, because it was a deadly fashion. It took place in the fashion industry, but I didn't have those kind of talents. So that's what I was talking about. Go see the review. So what the dead leave behind. Prudence is I'm not sure how far it is in this book, but Prudence, her father, the judge, got killed, and her fiance also got killed. So she ended up starting to work with Joffrey Hunter in his investigation business, and Josiah and Danny, one of the street urchins, and a whole cast of crew that they work with, solving murder mysteries each book. So this one is, as the Great Blizzard of Ripples, 1888, the vast machinery that is New York City heiress Prudence Mackenzie sits anxiously with her palpable Fifth Avenue home, awaiting for her fiance's safe return. Oh, this is the book that starts it all. Oh, okay. This is the one I was talking about. Her fiance, he ends up dead. Her father ends up dead. And she ends up working with Joffrey Hunter. So this is the book that started it all, with the dead leave behind. Kelsey Kroll, Wicked Abyss. We've talked about Kelsey quite a bit. As a boy, Abyssinian Infernus had his heart shattered by a treacherous fey beauty who died before he could extract revenge. Millennia later, a curse has transformed him into a demonic monster, just as she's been reincarnated. SUANNE captures the delicate but bold female, forcing her back to hell. Princess Calliope, Barbet's people have hated and feared Abyssinian and his alliance of monsters for eons. When the beastly demon imprisons her in the mystical castle, vowing revenge for betrayal, she can't remember what happened. So how can he punish her if she can't remember? We've done a couple of these on this series on the channel. We've done the first two, I believe. I need to catch up with it again. But Merit was accidentally turned into a vampire, and she's had a love-hate relationship with Ethan Sullivan. This is about 15th or 16th book in the series, the Chicagoland Vampires. She slowly makes up with her parents. Her grandfather considered her, once she became a vampire, she was person non grata, but she's slowly worked her way back to her family. Since the night of her brutal attack and the unwilling transformation into a vampire, Meredith stood as sentinel and protector Chicagoland's Cadogan House. She saved the Windy City from the forces of darkness time and time again, with her liege and lover Ethan Sullivan by her side. When the house is infiltrated and Meredith attacked by a vampire who seems to be under the sway of dark magic, Meredith and Ethan realize the danger is closer than they could have imagined. As malign sorcery spreads through the city, Meredith must go to war against supernatural powers beyond her comprehension to save everything she loves. Oops. And the last book. If you haven't seen my videos in all of these books, please go check out my videos in all these books. And then I did an if-then with time travel just recently in September. I've done a couple, but the new one in September is really good. Karen Marie Moning talking about her Highland series. I read all those books. I did a whole bunch of time travel books in August and September of last year, and this was one series. And we are very patiently, anxiously awaiting the next book. I think it's Echoes in Time. Don't quote me on that. But Julie has made the announcement on her website. It's in editing. It's with her editors, so hopefully it'll be out soon in the next few months. I hope to have it. But the lady, what was her name? Kendra, was an FBI agent, and she was involved in this FBI sting that went wrong, and the killer got away. She's investigating on her own time, and she goes to this house party, and she decides to disguise herself as one of the helpers, servants, to infiltrate the house party and mingle among the guests, handing out beverages, stuff like that, to learn intel on the killer. And the killer accidentally sees her at the house party, and she goes to the store, and she ends up in 1815, and there's a whole thing that goes with that, and she actually ends up coming back in time too. So it's a really, really good series. Please go check out all my videos on this stuff. The Julie McQuinn time travel series, all the books. When former FBI agent Kendra Donovan's plan to return to the 21st century fails, leaving her stranded in 1815, the Duke of Albridge believes he knows the reason why. He falls in love with her. Actually, no, his cousin falls in love with her, sorry. Former FBI agent Kendra Donovan attempts to return to the 21st century have failed, leaving her stuck in the Aldridge Castle in 1815, and her problems have just begun. Back in London, the Dukes have sent Aldridge's nephew, Alec, Kendra's confidant and lover. That's right, Alex becomes her potential husband. Nothing has happened yet because the book hasn't come out yet, so we don't know what's going on. Kendra's confidant and lover has begun under suspicion for the murder of his former mistress, Lady Dover, who found viciously stabbed with a stiletto, her face carved up in a bizarre and brutal way. Lady Dover had plenty of secrets, and her past wasn't quite what she made it out to be, which becomes frighteningly clear when the crime lord emerges from London's seamy underbelly to threaten Alex. Joining forces with the Bow Street runner Sam Kelly, Kendra must use her unique skill set to navigate the treacherous 19th century while she picks through the strands of Lady Donovan's life to save Alec, her lover. And I keep hoping that they will eventually send to Paris for some tomato sauce and some bread, and so they can make some pizza. But we'll see what happens. But if you haven't seen all my videos, A Murder in Time, A Twist in Time, there's about 6 or 7 books. So Julie Reads Books Reads, and I'm going to try and make a list if I remember. Julie McQuinn. I love these books. These are awesome. They are really, really good. They're so good. I can't say enough about them. So if you could please hit the like and subscribe, I'd appreciate it. Also check out If Then on Fridays. We'll be doing some fairy tales and witches this year. And check back each Monday for Flashback Monday as we move through 2017. Don't forget Star Trek Voyager recaps every Friday afternoon, and my daily book review and unboxing every Sunday. And we are reading J.D. Robb, Eve Dallas. We're talking about the characters the entire year. Have a good one.